East Asia is the eastern subregion of the Asian continent, which can be defined in either geographical or ethno-cultural terms. Geographically and geopolitically, it covers about 12 million square kilometers, or about 28% of the Asian continent, about 15% bigger than the area of Europe. More than 1.5 billion people, about 38% of the population of Asia and 22% or over one-fifth of all the people in the world, live in East Asia. Although the coastal and rivery areas of the region form one of the world's most populated places, the population in Mongolia and Western China, both landlocked areas, is very sparsely distributed, with Mongolia having the lowest population density of a sovereign state. The overall population density of the region is 133 inhabitants per square kilometer, about 3 times the world average of 45 per square kilometers. Historically, societies in East Asia have been part of the Chinese cultural sphere, and East Asian vocabulary and scripts are often derived from classical Chinese and Chinese script. Major religions include Buddhism, Confucianism and Neo-Confucianism, Taoism, Chinese folk religion in China and Taiwan, Shinto in Japan, shamanism and Christianity in Korea. Shamanism is also prevalent in Mongolia and other indigenous populations of North and East Asia. The Chinese calendar is the root from which many other East Asian calendars are derived. History. Chinese dynasties dominated the region in matters of culture, trade, and exploration as well as militarily for a very long time. There are records of tributes sent overseas from the early kingdoms of Korea and Japan. There were also considerable levels of cultural and religious exchange between the Chinese and other regional dynasties and kingdoms. As connections began to strengthen with the Western world, China's power began to diminish. Around the same time, Japan solidified itself as a nation-state. Throughout World War II, Korea, Republic of China, northeastern and eastern part of China, and Vietnam all fell under Japanese control. Following Japan's defeat in the war, the Korean peninsula became independent, while Taiwan returned to be part of the Republic of China after the World War II. United Nations Statistics Division. The UNSD definition of East Asia is based on statistical convenience, but also other common definitions of East Asia contain the entirety of China, Republic of China, Mongolia, Japan, North Korea and South Korea. Culturally, China, Japan, Korea, and Vietnam are commonly seen as being encompassed by cultural East Asia. Alternative definitions. There are mixed debates around the world whether these countries or regions should be considered in East Asia or not. Vietnam, Siberia in Russia. Sovereignty issues exist over some territories in the South China Sea. In business and economics, East Asia has sometimes been used to refer to a wide geographical area covering 10 Southeast Asian countries and ASEAN, People's Republic of China, Taiwan, Japan and South Korea. However, in this context, the term Far East is often more appropriate, which covers ASEAN countries and the countries in East Asia. However, being a Eurocentric term, Far East describes the region's geographical position in relation to Europe rather than its location within Asia. Alternatively, the term Asia-Pacific region is often used in describing East Asia, Southeast Asia as well as Oceania. Observers preferring a broader definition of East Asia often use the term Northeast Asia to refer to the Greater China area, Taiwan, the Korean Peninsula, and Japan, with Southeast Asia covering the 10 ASEAN countries. This usage, which is seen in economic and diplomatic discussions, is at odds with the historical meanings of both East Asia and Northeast Asia. The Council on Foreign Relations defines Northeast Asia as Japan and Korea. territory and region data. Demographics economy. The economy of East Asia is one of the most successful, developed and high-tech economies of the world, being home to some of the world's largest, most technologically advanced and most prosperous economies, such as the industrialized developed countries of South Korea, Taiwan, Singapore and Japan, while the military and economic superpower of China is projected to soon become the largest economy in the world, surpassing the United States of America. Major positive factors have ranged from favorable political legal environments for industry and commerce, through abundant natural resources of various kinds, to plentiful supplies of relatively low-cost, skilled and adaptable labor. In modern societies, a high level of structural differentiation, functional specialization, and autonomy of the economic system from government is a major contributor to industrial commercial growth and prosperity. Currently in East Asia, trading systems are relatively open, and zero or low duties on imports of consumer and capital goods etc. have considerably helped stimulate cost efficiency and change. Free and flexible labor and other markets are other important factors making for high levels of business economic performance. East Asian populations have demonstrated highly positive work ethics. There are relatively large and fast-growing markets for consumer goods and services of all kinds. Culture. The culture of East Asia has been influenced by the civilization of China. East Asia, as well as Vietnam, share a Confucian ethical philosophy, Buddhism, political and legal structures, and historically a common writing system. The relationship between China and East Asia has been compared to the historical influence of Greco-Roman civilization on Europe. Major cities and towns.